Welcome back, everyone. I'm the Prestio, and this is Langrisser Mobile. This is a new banner. I don't know when this video will come up. I'm trying to get back to the swing of things. Anyone who didn't read my post on the actual channel, I've been dealing with health issues. I ended up going to the hospital, and I had blood clots in both my lungs, so it tried to kill me. So I'm doing better now, and I'm not in any immediate danger, but I am been recovering. So yeah, I don't know when this video will come up, but I want to go ahead and knock this stuff out. So there's a new banner. It is the Imelda, or whatever the name they went with for her. She's pretty meta for the on the PvP front. Originally, I didn't have much interest in her because of the box I tend to run. But since she does have a displace ability, it's actually rather useful for moving around my sniper. So I'll probably try her out and see if how things go. Also, she does provide similar to the whip buff that the original Imelda has, which can also be helpful for having enough firepower for my sniper to actually get kills. Anyway, besides that, the exclusive is just for Roland, so we don't care about that. There's also a few inscription enchants of note. One of them I have already grabbed, which is for Zerida. So, 10% attack, which is welcomed. After taking action, if you have no soldiers remaining, you can act again with mobility +3. This can only trigger after 2 turns. So this essentially fixes a huge issue that Zerida had, which was she required a great deal of time to set up. Even in the best case scenarios where you're not using her for a faction buff, you still have to spend a round just sitting there and doing nothing but buffing yourself and killing your own troops. Now it's actually viable to open with faction buff, and then you don't really need to prep this ability anymore. You can just wait. All you have to do is just, wait until you have an opportunity, using a combination of your hide and seek movement plus, breeze if you have an active, and then, you can take all of, what was it? Sorry, I'm looking at the wrong page here. Yeah, just mobility +3, so you literally could just move again. So you just can cover the map at this point. If you have access to something like a portal or something else that can help move her around, she can very easily reach the opposite end of the map and just kill something. Now, her surviving afterwards is usually questionable. A lot of times you just treat her as a missile just to go and kill a specific unit and go from there. But yeah, she is viable now, useful, and she's a faction buffer, so always welcomed. The other characters of note, one of them is a male character, which I'm not going to look at. The other ones were Iris, which increases healing effects, and then her little Dream Kiss buff applies, will dispel 2 debuffs after action, which is pretty useful. Dream Kiss is her unique talent buff that makes it so they passively heal after taking action. Pretty useful, but probably not anything too crazy. It's definitely an improvement. It's just she's competing against so many good healers now. It's just not really that possible to bring her to the box nowadays. And then for Iron Blood Commander, hers is increased intelligence by 5%, and if there are fewer than 2 other allies on the battlefield, formation skills can also still be used, which is pretty useful because she's very reliant on her formation stuff. I don't exactly know how the mechanic works in this case, but if it allows her just to get any sort of buff active or, passively heal or whatever, it'll be still very useful. Alright, there's also the Internal Forge, which introduces new equipment. All of them are crazy. The leather helmet, or the light helmet rather, if there are no enemies within 2 blocks, you gain plus damage and plus AoE skill damage for 1 turn. Rather useful. This is pretty much useful. It's generally used for AoE, but you can do it for skill damage as well. So this can actually be useful for Silvaria. The accessory increases all stats as a defense. It has defensive buffs on it, or defensive stats on it, And then at the beginning of the turn, gain immune to next debuff. When triggered, you'll also regain HP. This is pretty much a soft counter for people like the Awakened one, because or anyone that just can, close the gap and immediately throw debuffs on you. This gets applied at the beginning of every turn, so now debuffing is actually even more difficult. It also means that Rosalia is not as, or not Rosalia, Rosenseal is not as desperately needed. The bow just does a defense debuff, which is not terrible, but any character, it's kind of hit and miss whether or not your defense debuff will actually apply. There's of course that one badge that makes you immune to defense down, so it is what it is. And then the robes, unfortunately, are nothing too special. Biggest issue is it doesn't have any other stats attached to it, like, plus attack or something like that. If it had, like, plus HP on top of everything else, it might have been okay. Anyway, so yeah, definitely a lot of interesting things there. Besides that, let's go ahead and dive into the summon. Conquest of the Frostspine Dragon. Alright. So here we go. I don't think I have any pities. I don't think I've accumulated any. Obviously, we went pretty crazy last time for Isolde. So, 1 second, just getting this all ready. Alright, let's go. So really all I want is just one. Obviously more stars is more useful, but the only thing I intend on using her for is to either move around and buff Silvaria, or to act as a ban bait, because she's definitely going to be ban bait. The percent chance of getting her is only 40%, and then 60% chance for off banner. Sword and Line Shadow. I already have all of this, so it is what it is. Now, I believe every time you get an off banner, you'll get either 10 shards, or if it's a character who's already 6 stars, you get 15 shards. It takes 60 shards to spawn her. Alright, sorry, I was just updating my thing there. That was 20 summons. But for the most part, as far as going up against her, it's going to be a problem. She can definitely cover the map very easily. She can bring others with her. She has a lot of cold debuffs that can eventually turn into stuns. She tends to die pretty quickly because she's just one of those characters you kind of send as a missile as well. But yeah, she's very much like a polyol type as far as like what you do with her. You just send her up and then everyone else cleans up afterwards. I think we're at 50 summons. I kind of lost count. Not too bad. So yeah, that was either 50 or 60. Alright, Imelda. There you go. Queen of the Abyss, the Cold and Determined Conqueror, creator of the Frigid Abyss. So, good stuff there. And, yeah. Do I want to keep going? Not really. I mean, it'd be nice to go up to 4 stars. I think the biggest. So one thing to note is she's an LLR rarity, which is a new rarity. This is, I think, important because I believe I can't use SSR shards on her. So let's find that out real quick. Sorry about that. I had to cut off the video because when I was trying to drag, I instead dragged the entire window and shrunk it. Oh, cool. You can use SSR shards. That's neat. So if I really need to upgrade her, I can speed it up. So that's good. Alright, give me a moment. I'll get her up to date and we'll do some awakening stuff. BRB. Alright, that wasn't too bad getting set up. All of her bonds don't require her to actually do her Gate of Fate stuff, which she does have. LLRs have their own unique Gate of Fate theming, though it pretty much functions pretty much the same, at least from what I've heard. But I didn't have to go and do the story stuff to actually get access to all of her bonds, which is helpful, makes things go faster. One thing to note about the LLR, it's anyone that goes on like their own exclusive banner where they only have the 40% chance. So for the most part, you can consider Apotheosis, Wedum, and the Awakened one also LLRs as far as how mechanically it works. Unfortunately, I don't think they'll retroactively actually change those icons, which would have been nice. In any case, let's go ahead and dive into this. Queen of the Frigid Abyss, she gets increased damage. I think this goes all the way up to 25% at 6 stars. She's not affected by melee damage reduction, so she can attack in melee just fine. After taking action, she can choose 2 allies to deal 0.1 times AoE magic damage and apply Chain Whip, which is an offensive ability, increases for 2 turns. Cannot be dispelled. This effect can be triggered again after 3 turns. After dealing damage with an active attack, applies Bone Chilling Cold to the enemy, ignores immunity, and cannot be dispelled. Bone Chilling Cold. If affected by this effect again during its duration, receive freeze. When engaging in battle with the Sovereign of the Ice Abyss, all stats excluding HP decrease by 20%. Lasts for 2 turns. When an enemy with Bone Chilling Cold dies, all skill cooldowns are reduced by 2 turns. Alright. Her exclusive skills, she has Icebound Vice, which is a single target attack, 1.6 times damage. If she's attacking somebody that has Bone Chilling Cold, she will strike first. When using melee troops, the melee soldiers will also attack. Upon successfully killing an enemy, applies Bone Chilling Cold to 2 enemies nearest to herself. And then she has Glacial Shackles, deals 0.1 times AoE damage to a single enemy in the battlefield, and inflicts 1 chosen displacement effect. Pulls oneself towards the target, ignores immunity when displacing, movement type is flying. And then Chilling Thrill pulls the target to oneself. When cast, the turn count of any current buffs will not decrease. And the caster can move an additional 3 blocks and attack again. It also changes the cooldown of Glacial Shackles to 4 turns. It says to a single enemy, but I'm pretty sure you can use this on allies. I'm going to need to test that. She does have access to some AoE. She does have Ice Dragon Breath. She does have Heaven Sanction. In fact, let's do Ice Dragon Breath. And then she also does get Mass Resistant, which can be kind of useful for support type stuff. In most cases, you're probably going to end up using your exclusives. Some people will replace Icebound Vice with Ice Dragon Breath if they just want to do pure AoE. Obviously, the last slot will probably go towards their 3C, which we'll go into in a bit. Soldier-wise, she does have kind of an array of troops to pick from. For now, I'm just going to stick with Fairy Spirit Prophets, though, the fact that melee troops work is definitely tempting. Equipment-wise, she does have access, even though she's... her 2 classes she can pick from is Flyer and Cavalry. I have never seen a Cavalry Imelda in any of the Chinese matches. Everyone always goes Flyer. Also, her factions are Empire, Strategic, and Time. so you got that going for you. Anyway, equipment-wise, despite being a flyer, she does get access to things like staves and cloth armor. I gave her Nightbloom, which I still need to work on enchants for. I kind of just threw some enchants on there. Nightbloom's pretty useful because since she's going to be constantly throwing out her talent and maybe even using her Glacial Shackles, she can actually kind of help with dispelling debuffs and things like that. And also Nightbloom does provide intelligence instead of healing, so it can still be used as an offensive staff. Last Rites is pretty standard for anyone that has access to it. Hat-wise, she has a few options. You can of course go for the AoE hat that just came out. For now, I'm just going with Glory of the World, just so she can have a little bit more durability for the most part. And then some of the suggested things is Spirit Boots, which I haven't used in a long time. They're not great for offense, but they have the neat little effect where every time she does an attack on a target, she gets the move 2 blocks. Though this technically is not true. You can actually, it doesn't matter if you hit someone or not. So yeah, it's really, I'm hoping they maybe try to use this to get a little additional mobility and maybe some hit and run going, but we'll see. Besides that, it just kind of makes her a little bit more durable because it does provide defense, and everything's going to be rushing us down soon. Anyway, that should be everything. So we'll go ahead and try to see how we do on the Awaken stuff. Don't surrender to me so easily. Rather than a bland victory, I prefer to force you into submission myself. Well, I see Imelda's personality hasn't changed much. Alright, we don't really need AoEs, but I think I'm okay with what we have. Alright. Just gonna do this. So, yeah, it's infinite range, so it's just the 2 closest, so I have already applied chill to both of them. If I hit them with another chill, they'll get frozen. You can throw your sword, can't you? Yeah, no you can't. You can Shadow Step. Which doesn't matter because you can't reach me. No one in range. Can you do this to yourself? Yes, you can, but I'm not going to because then she'll be targetable. I don't know if I don't even know if the AI is programmed to even use the teleport, but that's okay. So yeah, I get to pick and choose which one I want. Is there anything you're doing? No. Yeah, I'm just going to attack you then. Even if you lived, you would have been stunned. Yeah, so the whip does plus 10% to crit damage. Oh, sorry, 10% to damage dealt, fixed damage, crit damage, and attack and skill. So it's essentially just like the 3C that old Imelda had. Alright, so she's frozen, so I should have First Strike. Yep. Okay. Now for the fun part. Give up any thought of defeating me now. No matter the nature of the challenge, this moment will be the arena of my decisive victory. And how? Alright. Wow. Non-SP class Bernhardt. Alright. I mean, it's at least themed correctly, so we got that going for us. Alright. So, what are you going to play? Okay, you have literally the same stuff. Got it. Alright. So this one pulls target to caster side. So yeah, you can do it to allies. In fact, we could just do we can just do a little bit of this. This is the other thing you can do with Imelda. You don't see it too often. It's she does have a hook, so yeah, got that going for us. We'll give it to you guys. Aw, you lived, but you're frozen. Also, I couldn't remember if this was alternating turns or not, but it's an AI battle, so we have all our turns first. Alright, so that's all going to fix itself soon. Oh yeah, since I killed somebody that had the ice enchant, it reduced all my cooldowns. That's what happened there. Let's... You're fine, and you're gonna go there. Okay. We're gonna play it a little safe here. Well, there's not much I can do here. AoE? Yeah. That's a nasty one. Chain whip on you guys. Okay, so what we're going to do here is return the favor. So now I can go for you. Alright, go down. You... Oh yeah, that slow's a bit annoying, isn't it? Oh my god, are you kidding me? That's gonna hurt. Well, aren't you clever? Good stuff. Alright. Okay, you're still defense down, so I should be able to just do this. Okay, one down. Cooldowns are off on you. Pull myself towards you. There you go, now you're frozen. Okay. Apparently had fixed damage. Yeah, really interesting character. Unfortunately, with her long cooldowns and stuff, she's not as good in PvE types of content, but who knows. Alright. Might of the Frigid Abyss. So, also one thing to know if something's supposed to be an LLR or not is if their 3C happens to be a big cutscene. There you go, like so. Alright, so yeah, this thing is pretty much makes her the train, where she just drags everything to the front, or vice versa. Alright, immune to damage dealt to oneself when using Chain Whip, so she can buff herself without hurting herself. After use, attack and intelligence increased by 20% for 2 turns, so she can literally buff herself. The activated effect is a attack all enemies in 3 straight lines, dealing 0.3 times AoE damage. Also teleports oneself and allies with Chain Whip within 3 blocks to the furthest point in the skill's casting radius. So essentially, she drags herself and everyone that she whipped with her. This is a teleport, so it will not work with Silvaria. Also applies the Icicle special effect to random blocks along the way for 1 turn. After an enemy passes through here, after taking action, they take fixed damage equal to 1.5 times the caster's int, ignores immunity, and gains Bone Chilling Cold. Non-flying units consume 1 additional mobility when moving here. After use, this changes into Abyssal Ice Prison. Abyssal Ice Prison is essentially a point-blank AoE that will do damage, and then it'll pretty much do a little perimeter of those icicles as well. When those icicles are laid down, if you happen to get lucky enough to put an icicle on somebody, they will immediately take its effect, taking the fixed damage, and of course getting a stack of Bone Chilling Cold. So this can really escalate very quickly. It can be a situation where she rolls in, hits everybody. Since she hit everybody, they get Bone Chilling Cold, and then if any of them happen to be unlucky and get hit by a random icicle from the initial blow, it will freeze them, and then they're just stuck. And then on her following turn, she'll just do her other AoE that she got. She can even reposition herself in a way to ensure that she gets somebody with some of those icicles, and then just freezes everybody. And then that's pretty much it. Then you GG and leave, and then you go back into the Apex queue. Anyway, so yeah, like a really interesting character. Let's see what we're going to do with the Apex box. I'm going to be trying to get back into that as well, since my health has improved. So, team formation. So one thing is, obviously, we have Zerda, and we have Imelda to play around with. Obviously, Imelda is not going to be too fantastic. She is only 3 stars, it looks like. Oh. I was like, why is she so low? Sync this, please. Thank you. Alright. So, we can, also, I'm also considering going ahead and dropping some of these characters, because I don't need the Act-Agains as desperately anymore. One thing also about Imelda's second AoE is it does have the status effect that prevents Act-Agains. So, got that to deal with as well. So, we'll probably replace Angelina with Imelda. And I think I will probably replace Ashimir. Her buff is pretty useful, but her ability to pull is kind of limited because she's rather not super mobile. So I may go ahead and just replace her with Zerda for now and see what my opponent does with that. So let's do that for now, because I don't want to lose the Mia just yet. So we'll do this for now, and then I think I'm going to go ahead and get rid of Florentia and replace her with Langrisser again. I think that's what we're going to look like. Yeah, I think that's going to be our best bet. So, we'll go ahead and save the formation, and we'll see how it plays in the future. Anyway, sorry about the long hiatus. I'll be trying to get back to the swing of things. Obviously, I got Langrisser Mobile and Labyrinth of Toad 2 to go with. I'm probably gonna, I'll probably post later that I'll be dropping Limbus Company, and I'll talk more about that when I post about it. In any case, I'm the Depressed Hero. This was Langrisser Mobile, and I'll see you guys next time.